So just before we get going, I'm just going to talk about some changes that are coming to the vlog format, starting with this one. Previously, all of the vlogs have been kind of a mix of Slug Disco's other publishing projects and Empires the Undergrowth, mainly Empires the Undergrowth. From this vlog going forward, it will be exclusively focused on Empires the Undergrowth. Well, almost exclusively Empires. There will be a separate bi-monthly vlog on the newly created Slug Disco Games publishing channel, so go and join that for those. Without further ado, let's get straight on to the Empires of the Undergrowth vlog. Absolute cinema. So now that this vlog is pretty much dedicated just to Empires of the Undergrowth, I think that gives us, as ant and insect fans, a bit more license to be ourselves. So, this time I've got the big camera with the big macro lens. We're going to be doing some videography and photography. And ants are a bit tricky to find in this country park. I'll certainly find insects, but I will go out of my way to find ants as well later on. So let's get going while I also talk about Empires of the Undergrowth. I'm using a special lens to get close-up, high-detail pictures of insects today, and our production assistant Paul has spotted a very pretty moth on the leaves behind this tree. I believe it's a scarlet tiger moth. I need a camera flash for this as well. So we're starting our macro journey today with that. I can't remember the scientific name for this one, so I'll pop it up on the screen now. But now it's time to go and do our full macro walk, where we'll talk about artwork updates. This macro walk has been the day of the ladybugs, by the way. I've recorded, I think, their entire life cycle. I managed to find a larva. I managed to get a ladybug as it was just emerging as well, and various points in its life cycle. Here's one. Here's another one. We will grab this one while we're here. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Quite happy with that. So we'll leave Macro Mike to do his hobby and bother beetles and things while we first talk about updated artwork for Empires of the Undergrowth, which has been continuing as it has been for quite a while now. So recently updated creatures include the juvenile eastern newt, which is getting all new everything, textures, models and animations, and in fact it is using an updated version of the spline creature system. A bit more about that later on, but as you can see there, it's wandering around looking splendid, more splendid than it ever has before. Also, of course, we've got the brand new Emperor Scorpion looking fantastic as well. And the alligator back scorpion, even though it's not getting a new look just yet, will share some of the updated animations from the Emperor Scorpion, just to keep everything at the right level of fidelity. There's also a few other smaller creatures that have got some updated animations, such as the checkered beetle and the spiny devil bush cricket. There's quite a few smaller ones like that scattered throughout the game, which will all be coming in the next large update. And Aaron has also been working on texture optimizations. A bunch of them came in the last patch, but there's more of those to go for texture streaming and getting the game just working better on older hardware. So as I mentioned in the last vlog, updates for controller support for the UI are continuing apace. And in fact, Kartik and Ethan, the two guys who are working on that, have found that it's been easier to redesign a lot of the interface from scratch rather than trying to adapt the old one to it. So when that update comes, you can expect things like new radial menus that will work very well with controllers and such like. And the whole interface itself will have a new look as well. I did ask if I could show a little bit of it now. They'd rather just crack on with that rather than open it up to premature criticism, so fair enough. But this kind of large-scale interface change strikes me as something that would very much suit an optional beta. So there's a good chance that something like that will happen a bit closer to time. So new elements to the UI include things like radial menus and all sorts of gubbins like that, which really open the game up to being a really worthwhile experience on controller. Not that it isn't already, of course. You absolutely can play Empires the Undergrowth on controller already. In fact, we are down as playable on Steam with the Steam Deck. Handhelds becoming ever more popular these days. Once all these changes are made, of course, we'll be submitting ourselves for evaluation again, and I think we'll get the Steam Deck verified this time, because frankly, we will deserve it. And if we don't, It's amazing what you can find that you didn't even know existed. Before I went out on this macro trip, I'd never even heard of a scorpion fly before. Thank you, Alex, on our Discord for identifying this one for me. Something else I mentioned last time is DLC. Our second DLC has been in full production pretty much since the last vlog went out a couple of months ago. So the implementation of that is well underway now. Sadly, I haven't been given the go-ahead to give you the exact details of the DLC yet, but I can say that it is significantly different than the previous one. Any DLC we produce will very much be its own thing, and that's the philosophy going forward anyway for any future DLCs too. Very different each time. Again, no outright clues from me this time, but if you're paying attention, a bit later on you might hear from a couple of other people that might give you a little bit more information about it. Only if you're very good though. Can you be very good? I don't know. Anyway, I think it's time we found some actual ants in this place. Let's go. So I've had to move away from the country park I was in order to do so, but I have found some ants. I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this vlog will be familiar with this species anyway. This is Lasius niger. Almost certainly Lasius niger. It's certainly a Lasius species, and they're the most common ant in the UK by far. And the easiest way to find them is to come out on pavements and sidewalks like this, because they burrow into little cracks and crevices, and they leave debris. Like in this fairly mature colony we've got here, you can see them moving in and out, taking little stones and pebbles away to give themselves more room for their young. This species was intended to be the original Tier 1 species in Empires of the Undergrowth, but we decided to go for Mica fusca in the end because they're a bit more comparable in size to wood ants, which was appropriate for those first few levels. These ants are much more active later in the day and at night, so I've come out as late as I can while still having reasonable light to record some footage with. This is the time of year when these ants are spawning, when their relates are appearing. So today is far too windy for that, but earlier in the week I did see what I assume is a mated queen of these wandering along the grounds. I recorded that on my phone, so I'll pop that up now. Since she was wandering around, I'd assume she'd already mated and was looking for a place to, shed her wings and burrow in. A fun fact about this species is that a captive queen was the longest lived recorded ant. She lived nearly 30 years. In the wild, they will not live anywhere near that, but still a long-lived species by all definitions of the word. So there you go. I had to leave the country part to do so, but we got some ants for the vlog. Now, we work from home at Slug Disco. But last month we had one of our very rare in-person meetups, and it was fantastic to see everyone, some of them for the first time. And while we were doing that, I thought that I'd have a little chat with everyone who was in attendance to see what they've been up to, and I put together a little interview reel, so enjoy that. Are you ever tempted to dress up as an ant to get in the mood for development? Hello and welcome to the 2025 Slug Disco meetup. I'm covering this event. Let's just go. Where did the inspiration for Empires of the Undergrowth come from?
Oh, it came from ants.
How do you choose what ant species go in?
I don't know.
At random, apparently. How would you describe what you're doing at the moment without spoiling it?
It's an environment for the ant game.
Environment for the ant game. You don't work in Empires. There you go. Yeah, move around to there you go. Oh God, what's going on with this? Give me a sec. Give us a sentence about one of the recent games Slug Disco is publishing.
Okay, well, The Ember Guardian, that's the most recent game that we've announced. It's a 2D side-on base builder. It's kind of like Kingdom meets Domekeeper.
That would be Primordial Empire, a 2D side-on strategy game, colony management, where you play as a bunch of microorganisms trying to carve out an empire in an alien world.
How would you say the visual improvements to Empires of the Undergrowth are going?
I'd say everything's moving in the right direction. I'd say things continue to do so, and you can expect things to continue to do so.
Do we have any new creatures / titans coming to Empires of the Undergrowth?
Yes, we do. Yeah, lots of very exciting stuff for upcoming DLCs that we're not really meant to talk about, but yeah, lots of exciting stuff, and especially a new Titan, which I'm particularly excited about.
Cardi, what's your favourite level?
Harvest.
Do you have a message for our Chinese community on Bilibili or elsewhere?
You should all travel to UK. 都来英国玩. The British breakfast is splendid.
What would you have done differently if you started again?
What, the Crystal Maze?
No,
The more ants.
more ants.
This is very intense.
Okay, that's any chance of get out of the way. What have you been working on recently?
Lately, I've been working on improving the controller experience for players. The hope is to make a new control scheme that is much more centric and much better feedback for controller players.
Is there anything non-Empires related that you can give us a little tiny hint about?
I've been working with a lad called Tom lately on a little game called Ecosystem. May or may not be something for you to look forward to there. Maybe, maybe not.
Can you tell us one thing about the super secret project that you're definitely not working on?
The super secret project that I'm definitely not working on is a project nobody's working on at the moment.
Do you think that your best sand days are behind you?
They'll never be behind me, Mike. There's always more sand to be made.
Has there been anything about this process that has made you want to throw your keyboard, defenestrate your keyboard?
Play testing to see what kind of late game features play out as, but then when you get to that late game stage, it doesn't play out, and then
Sure.
you realize you've wasted a lot of time.
Why did you inflict harvestmen, fishing spiders, and huntsman spiders upon us?
It has to have spiders, really.
Liam likes the spiders. Any chance of 2 queens in a nest or of elates?
Maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
So that's not a no.
It's a maybe.
You're saying there's a chance? Do you think we are ever going to get any more of your Empires of the Undergrowth challenge videos?
Can I plead the fifth?
A bit more of a candid one, yeah. How would you say you've found Slug Disco as a team to kind of just integrate into and kind of be a part of?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Everyone's been very friendly. Everyone's been very inclusive. We're all here, meeting up in person, so that's been lovely. Yeah, it's been a really great place to work so far, and I'm sure it will continue to be.
Tell us a little bit more about spine creatures.
Since taking on the expanded art team, and especially the character artist team has been expanded at the beginning of this year. Since they've come on board, it's become clear that I need to improve the methods with which we make the spine creatures move through the undergrowth in Empire's Undergrowth. And so I have put a lot of effort into redesigning the system, which causes that shape change. And we should end with some fantastic animations.
We're going to Gamescom in August with Dancy, and then Tokyo Game Show. Oh, there's Dancy. And then we'll be at Tokyo Game Show this year as well.
And finally, London or Manchester?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I'm going to put that in. Probably not. Probably not. I think we leave it at that. I probably won't. I won't. So I hope you enjoyed those little interviews there with the team. I did intend to do kind of a rapid fire Q&A with Liam, Matt and John, but never got round to it in the end. So I'm just going to do those myself now. Okay, so are you going to add hell ants or harvester ants to the game? No. Are we going to get multiplayer? No. Empires of the Undergrowth will stay the lovely little weird single player game that it is, but perhaps in the future our next project will be multiplayer focused. Are we going to get a map editor? No, but again, future project. Are we going to be able to mod the game? Not officially. We don't really have the resources to do a full-on mod support, but it's your own copy of the game. It's a single-player game. You do what you got to do. Where are free-play fire ant bridges? At the moment, they're on the back burner. I'm not sure if they're going to happen as we intended. Could you make 3-1 a bit easier? Not off the request of a single person, sorry. Do you think Scientist 2 can ball? Let's toss a coin and find out, because that's undefined lore. So on the screen now there will be a coin toss. Can he ball? There's your answer. Is there a planned final update to Empires of the Undergrowth? Not a planned one. Eventually there will be a natural end to things, but it's not happening in the very near future. We've got plenty to do on Empires yet. When will we get a new extra level? It could happen at any time. Can we have the soundtrack on Spotify? Not in the very near future, but I'm not saying it's impossible. What do you think you'd be doing if not Slug Disco? I know this is aimed at the devs mainly. Me personally, I worked in visual effects before this. John and Liam were aerospace engineering students, and Matt has a computer science degree, so it'd probably be something to do with those. Not sure about the rest of the team, but most of those are working in their intended career. I know that's the case. And that's it for this vlog. Empires of the Undergrowth has recently just passed 1 year since early access, so thank you for all your support everyone. Hope you enjoyed the new, more outdoorsy format for this vlog. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Hopefully the next one will be similar. If the weather stays good, it should do. It's just the start of summer. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.